Hey, Patrick here, co-founder at Vetted Biz. Today we're going to go through one of the most iconic American restaurant brands, Denny's, and go through the history, the franchise cost, potential return on investment, everything you need to know if you want to open up a Denny's or at least curious about this iconic American brand. So Denny's opened up back in 1959, so 60 plus years ago, originally as a coffee shop under the name Danny's Donuts, then later switched into a family restaurant and became known as being always open and always serving breakfast, lunch, dinner around the clock, kind of get what you want diner that wasn't so popular in the time. And many areas of the country, when Denny's opened up, it was really a novelty and something that really attracted a lot of consumers. So they wouldn't close on holidays, nights, except really when required by law. So Denny's expanded quite fast. And recently the numbers have been decreasing, but they grew to thousands of locations. However, hasn't been the best pandemic type business, as it's in that category of full service, where for a lot of restaurants, and depending on the city and state, they weren't even available. They weren't even allowed to be open during this COVID-19 pandemic. So they got hit really hard, and they've been closing about 100 locations per year in 2019, 2020, 2021. So it was a tough year for them. They still have been opening new franchise locations, but they closed 105 locations in 2019. So when you have the COVID pandemic, and also consumer tastes are changing. So looking more at healthier options, at least options that are marketed as healthy. We've done another video on Sweet Greens, which I love. It's not a franchise, unfortunately, but it's the real deal, where there are brands that Denny's competing with and more of a healthy food category, but are they actually healthy? You know, that's a whole nother discussion. We can have another video or podcast. The location's gonna really factor in terms of the sales and profitability of your Denny's location. So it's something really important to think about. And in order to qualify for a Denny's, you have to be wealthy. You have to have a net worth over $1 million, as well as liquid net capital of $500,000. So this isn't for everyone. Generally, Denny's franchisees have extensive U.S. Restaurant operation experience, investing experience, and this isn't their first restaurant that they've invested in. And more often than not, they have experience already in owning and operating U.S. franchises. So it's a tough brand to get into. It wouldn't be my first choice, especially given the trends that I just discussed. Healthy food consumers are changing in the United States. Also trends in terms of delivery and takeout, where the food that Denny's is selling, is it the best takeout food and delivery food? Or when you think about delivery food, are you thinking more about Asian, something ethnic, pizza? The menu items that Denny's have would not be my first choice, nor the first choice of most Americans when they're thinking about food that they want to do delivery or takeout for. So just those factors, they haven't been so well positioned. And it's a pretty long time to recoup your capital investment in a Denny's. Our analysts forecast anywhere from 10 to 18 years to get your investment back. So you've invested $2 million in a Denny's restaurant. You can expect to recoup after you open the business, break even, start earning money, cash flow from the business. It could take you 10 to 18 years to gain that $2 million back. For those that are using leverage, SBA loans, and other types of loans, so of the $2 million, maybe you only invest $200K. It could make financial sense. Definitely going to be a higher risk using that much leverage, but you could get your cash on cash return faster. And also, if you're owning the real estate, developing the real estate, so you don't have to pay rent to yourself. And maybe you eventually sell that real estate to a wealthy individual or REIT and recoup that capital back faster. So there are some ways to get your return back faster than 10 years. But if you're just investing all cash in a Denny's, you don't own the building, it's going to take generally 10 plus years to get your money back. So there's more attractive franchises. If you're still considering a Denny's, I would definitely talk to at least 3 or 4 franchisees, if not more, that are currently owning and operating Denny's, as well as ex-franchisees of Denny's, those that have either sold their location or closed down, to ask them, why did they close down? Why did they sell their location? That all being said, if you're just opening up one Denny's, it's going to be really hard to recoup that $2 million investment. However, if you're opening up 5, 10, 15 Denny's, then you might be able to sell that business for a nice gain as the multiple goes up, and there would be more professional investors that would look to buy your Denny's restaurant portfolio. So I hope this was helpful for those that are interested in opening up a Denny's franchise. It's been around for 50 years. They've been growing franchise locations, closing corporate locations. Let's see how they do post-pandemic. If there's any other franchise brands you'd like us to review, just shoot me an email at patrick@vettedbiz.com. Thanks.